So this is my work in progress. My sprayer that I built to spare pasture. This is not the finished product, but it's a really good start, and it is a very functional start. So just kind of walk you through what we have here. Most of it's pretty self-explanatory by just looking at this video, but got a 55-gallon barrel there. Sometimes you can find those for free, but sometimes you gotta buy them. They're not terribly expensive. Pretty simple deal. Just ratchet strapped it in the bed of the Gator. This could work on just about anything. I mean, really, anything that can carry a 55-gallon barrel full of liquid anyway, or a similar container. So I got this idea from another YouTuber that had made a similar sprayer, and basically it's irrigation, sprayers, spray nozzles you do see like for like spraying your lawn or your garden or whatever. So I'll probably show this later on how it sprays and everything, but I actually had this longer. It used to be about 12 feet long. Each one of these little sections here is 12 inches. It's basically half-inch piping. Now you could do this with regular PVC, I'm sure, also, but I kind of like the threaded idea, so that, like, for example, one of the reasons why this is only 10 feet now is because I had caught these and snapped them off, which, when you're driving something through gates and other areas, it's a bit wide. Which also lends me to another idea I have, which I'll get to in a little bit. But I like it modular. That's why I like it threaded, so I can take the pieces apart. Now, it's kind of some of what we have. Of course, got the barrel. I took a piece of 1-inch PVC that I had, hooked it up to this clear hose. Never mind all my junk and garbage that's in here. I'm just using a battery, 12-volt battery, whatever. You could even probably hook it up to your machine that you're using to run it. One of the things I added is this, basically it's a wireless switch. It comes with the key fob. It's got this handy dandy little key fob on and off. Turns the pump on and off. You can hear it. Turned it off there. Pump sounds kind of loud and noisy because it's empty now, because I just got done spraying stuff. But got the pump, and I'll put links for the bottom of this video to Amazon, where I bought most all this stuff at. It's not terribly a lot as far as cost. I would give you a cost estimation, but realistically, there's some things I would change on this, and I'm sure you would too, to fit your needs or what you think works best. But it's a food for thought idea. One of the things I was getting to about the modular idea and the length of this unit, the 12-foot length was nice because it probably sprayed, because it sprays out the side too, quite a good distance. So we're probably covering 14, 16 feet probably on the ground roughly, just because of how far it sprays. Now, that being said, I didn't know what to really expect out of these nozzles. Now, they're adjustable. These heads turn, and I don't have it hooked up right now to show it, but they turn. You can open them and close them. I want to say not quite 360 degrees, but pretty close to it. I think 270, but basically it just changes how far it fans out to spray. Pretty neat idea. But that being said, when I first tried this out, I had all of the spray heads on, and with this pump, it actually sprayed pretty well. But I was going through this fluid way too quickly. I didn't have a way to really gauge how much flow, and if you were to adjust the pressure down, you're not going to have as good of a spray pattern. So what I ended up doing later on was turning all but 4 of these nozzles off. So right there, that would save you some money. You could probably buy different PVC or tubes and stuff like that to use, different lengths. In other words, you wouldn't have to have as many T-fittings, that sort of thing. You could buy like 4, maybe more, depending on how long you want to make it, of the nozzles, which are not terribly expensive. All in all, but each individual component's not terribly expensive, and it adds up. But it's much cheaper than buying a sprayer that's already been built and very easy to use. So that being said, you see what I'm working with so far. A couple of things I would like to do and change about it. First off, this barrel, what I want to do is make that top actually a little bit more sealed off. I know you need to have airflow to come, so air can come into the tank as you're depleting it of liquid, but right now the one downside is it'll splash if it's near full, and that's not good. So I'm going to redo that feed line and take one of the caps and drill it and make it so that the PVC pipe fits more securely into it and more vertical. And I'll probably cut a like a slot of some type at the bottom of the PVC so that if the tube is sitting flush on the bottom, it's not like causing it to make a restriction on the inlet side of the pump. Probably adjust the length of the hose and everything. What I do like about this pump is it basically uses garden hose connections, just standard garden hose connections. So what that means is I can rinse this all out really easily. I can hook up a garden hose, you know, to the inlet side and run all the water through it, or I can actually take a garden hose, hook it up, you know, on that end or this end, and be able to flush out all the, you know, mixture of chemicals out of the pipes. So I put a valve right here to kind of shut off the flow, mainly because, sorry, my finger's in the way on the camera. When you get done spraying, whatever's inside the tubes is going to dribble out as you drive and stuff, right? What I didn't want happening was to say I'm not done spraying and this tank still has liquid in it, to have it gravity feed that liquid. So it just makes an easy way to turn off the line really quick, and whatnot. So other than the plumbing to the sprayer, and modifying it so we don't have a splash coming out of the tank, making it a little neater. The next thing I also like to do, not necessarily in any particular order, is to make a box or a carrier of some type for the battery and the pump and the remote switch, all to mount to, so that it's kind of modular, where I can basically just pick it up, throw it in the back of Gator, throw it in the back of the UTV, throw it in the back of a pickup truck, whatever I want to do. It's its own standalone power supply, which you just throw on a 12-volt charger to charge it back up, you know, basically. But to give it something to kind of keep everything together and give that switch something to mount to, and the pump as well, which it's got this little handle on it, but it also has like this, can't really see it real well, sorry, this mounting plate right here, which you can mount up to something. Like if it's wood, throw a couple screws in it or whatever to hold it in place, or plastic or whatever. I thought about taking a bucket and like cutting it up somehow, or some type of already kind of pre-made, you know, carrying tool to use for that, or just taking some wood and fabricating up a box to mount everything to. But again, I like that the plumbing can unscrew from that pump too, for the other reason that I can separate everything. And the pump could be used for other things. Like for example, if I have a secondary tank and I'm using this on the back of a pickup truck or something, I can just switch over to the other tank and you know, have a fresh 55-gallon drum to work out of. Or say I'm done spraying and I still have a lot of liquid left inside this 55-gallon drum. Well, it's not easy to lift that drum. It's pretty heavy. So what we would do is basically use that as a transfer pump. You know, leave the inlet tube in the one that's full, take this outlet, unscrew it from the sprayer, and just run it to another 55-gallon that's off of the machine, to fill that up, to kind of transfer the liquid so that we can easily take this 55-gallon drum empty off of the machine. So that's one idea. So modifications to the actual spraying boom, if you want to call it that, or whatever. There's a few different ideas I've had. I like the idea of being able to spray more area, because that saves a lot of time. So I like the idea of this being wider than it is. Like I said, originally I started out with it being 12 foot wide with, you know, with all the sections I put together, roughly. But right now I think it's about 10 foot. I lost my count, but I guess actually it might be a little shorter. I'm not sure. I guess by the time you add up all the little T-fittings and stuff, because what I did in the middle was I used a couple of 6-inch pieces, so I don't know. Anyway, you can do the math and count it by looking at the pictures, whatever. But anyhow, I would use less nozzles. Right now, really, I'm only using this one here, this one here, so 2 in the center and the 2 on the end. So I basically have 6 nozzles I didn't have to use. Now if I were to widen this out with another, another 2 feet or whatever, like I had it before, that still worked very efficiently. I still had a good coverage with it with just 4 nozzles. If I wanted to go wider yet, I might kind of play around with the spacing a little differently and use different configuration. But one of the things I thought about doing, and I really would like to maybe explore into this option, is you have these fittings, right, for garden hose fittings, and that's just a female fitting right there that this valve is threaded into, or is it? I might be saying that wrong. No, that's the female end, and yeah, so I don't know, I can't remember now. I guess I probably have it all screwed up, but anyway, basically garden hose fitting on each end of this. So what I was thinking was, instead of using the wood, that was just a quick, easy way to do this with some 1-inch band clamps with some, screws, like deck screws, just screwed into it, just for a really fast way to put it together. And all I did was basically, I'm getting a little bit off subject, but just use one single strap around it just to strap it down, and put this little piece on the edge here for like a ledge to help give it something to push against, to make it, pretty sturdy, which it is. I'm gonna grab it, and you can see I can kind of wiggle it around, but it's not falling off, not coming off or anything like that. That being all said, I thought about more for like the ease of driving it around through tighter areas until you get out to the pasture where you can be more open, making a folding boom, basically taking and making 2 separate booms. Like, for example, if this was longer by, another 2 feet or something, having this center section here basically have a garden hose connection on each side, and then connect that with hose to a Y. I'm sorry, my hand's up there. Connect this like with a hose to a Y fitting, and have the one single hose coming off of the pump, and that would give us a flexible hose to each side of the boom. And you can see where I'm going with this. You can make it fold. So how I would probably think about doing that, and this is just an idea, and the whole purpose of this video is to come up with some ideas to make an inexpensive sprayer for spraying your pasture or wherever, kill weeds and stuff. So I'd probably take like some angle iron. I'd probably look around for something like an old bed frame that's made of angle iron to use, and I would build a hinged setup with that, more than likely, using that and maybe some other scraps of steel, where the reason why I mentioned the angle iron is you can mount the tubing, the piping, to the angle iron, and the angle iron would support it, because really this flexes, is pretty durable, except for when you smack it into something, which you see my clamps a little loose there, but like I've smacked these into like posts and trees and different things like that. And that's how I broke one of them. I smacked it a couple times and finally it snapped, but no big deal, just unthread it, throw a new piece in, or make it shorter. Anyway, I would use the angle iron, attach it maybe with some clamps of some type. I don't know if I use these band clamps, or zip ties would be kind of like a cheesy way of doing it, I guess, or one way of doing it, but it would kind of work. Or like regular screw clamps or whatever. Like you use like a band clamp, like you'd have on a radiator hose or whatever, worm drive clamp. I don't know what the technical term is for it, but I would do something like that to attach it to the angle iron, and then make a hinge of some sort in the middle, and mount that hinge to like a either like a piece of wood like this, or something to lay down across the tailgate, and be able to kind of grab the edge of it. Now you get the idea what I'm saying. You can design it however you want it. These are just some food for thought ideas, but the whole purpose I would think of having it fold is so, like, for example, when I'm going through a pasture gate, I can have a much wider boom once I get into the pasture, once I lay the ends down, and it would be really easy to do. You might even make some sort of locking mechanism to keep it from, when you're bouncing down the road, from the boom bouncing around too, or something. But that's a lot of different ideas. But this is one of the most inexpensive ways of doing this. Basically, just getting a 2x4 or something to basically strap it down to. You probably could use zip ties also. I just got these rubber band clamps and stuff off Amazon. They're not very expensive. They're 1-inch diameter. Almost a little too small actually, but they work. And at least almost too small for grabbing on the fittings, with the T-fittings, but they're not too small for grabbing it on the hose connections, because they're only about, I want to say, 3/4 diameter, and it's a 1-inch clamp, so I don't know. But anyway, you get the idea. So this is my sprayer. I'll have to take another clip to show you it spraying. I'll put that at the end of the video so you can kind of see what it looks like when it's running, because I'm going to go flush it out now, flush some water through it and everything, so you'll be able to see that. So just some ideas for how to do this inexpensively. Again, this is a prototype, if you want to call it that. It's a work in progress. It's not perfect, and I probably, now knowing what I know now with putting it together, I didn't need as many nozzles, so I would have done the piping differently and everything, and would have ordered a few less parts and made it probably a little less expensive. So you can go on Amazon. Like I said, I'll put some links below for some of these parts to give you an idea. I don't remember the exact spec on this pump. I want to say it was like 380 gallons per minute or hour. I don't remember, but I think hour. I'm not sure. Anyway, I don't remember. But you'll be able to see it from the link I'll put in below the video, of course, to see what it is. But you can find a similar pump that has enough volume that would work. There's all types of options out there. This one I think was around 60 bucks, I think, when at the time of buying it, but prices go up and sometimes they go down, but mostly go up. So it could be more expensive later on if you're watching this 10 years in the future. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and flush this out. I appreciate you watching, and hope you all enjoy all the videos we're gonna be posting up here on Feed Them Cows. The cows are gone now. They were out here. Actually, there they are, right behind me. What am I saying? Most of them anyway. We'll zoom in on them. They're out there grazing. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'll show you that clip of this spraying, and have a great day, everybody. Feed them cows.
Where are you hiding? I can't hear your voice. I need you to guide me away from the noise. Take me to a quiet place, somewhere I can hear you speak.